Hello, heroes! Welcome to the May newsletter for Roll4It. Welcome! Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful month and you're excited for the next month, which we're already in. But we wanted to make sure that we got the full last week of that for stats and all of the goodies. Obviously, you know pretty much all of us, but if you're kind of new to Roll4It and this is your first time being a hero tier, I am Margaret Crone. I handle like most of our marketing stuff because I'm CMO. You guys want to each talk about what you do, just so people know what you do?
I spoil Maggie's plans for content rollouts by telling people stuff early. Hi, that makes my job CEO, I guess. Also HR and legal and but finance. Is that it? That is it. It's weird. Yeah. What are you? What are you, Bentham? What are you?
I'm the CTO, right? Technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I run the Discord and the Patreon mostly.
Yeah.
And their integration, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Basically, if you see something moving, if you see something and it's working right, it's probably those two. Because you don't see the stuff I do generally, because they do all the things.
Yeah, and you can always let like a mod know, and then they'll always inform Bentham or so on and so forth.
Yeah, usually when your ability to connect your accounts to things and do stuff in that way is somehow not working, you tell me.
Yeah.
That is true.
And then I guess I didn't talk about what I do specifically, but I'm mostly handling social media, like contacting people. So I guess I kind of do a little bit of HR because I do recruiting. I work out like that conversation and
your outreach program.
Yeah, I kind of outreach because I also do like art contracts and stuff like that too. I like work with EE to make sure that stuff's working.
You tell me where to send the contracts. I'm the cheap legal department. I'm just like, sure, you get a contract. You get a contract. Everybody gets a contract.
But yeah, I think we haven't talked about that in a while. So that's kind of what we do. We all kind of manage everything together. It makes it really easy. So when a task comes up, we know who's doing it and who's working on it.
And we all love each other very much.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Wait,
what?
What?
It was the way you said it that was just a little bit weird.
Bentham doesn't love us like we love him.
I think we have to put him up for adoption.
We have to put him up for adoption.
Okay, I'm the kid in this dynamic, okay.
You are, though, technically.
No, maybe that made sense when you didn't have the beard. Now I don't think it makes as much sense.
Oh, gosh.
Also, I'd like to say that we're all, I'm going to detract slightly. We're all repping some really nice t-shirts except for Bentham. Like, I'm going Team Captain Ravenclaw. Maggie's got her amazing Paws t-shirt.
Paws shirt.
I love that t-shirt.
I can't be bothered getting changed from doing Layla. I'm going to change from this to pajamas. I'm not adding another step in the middle of that.
No, that's me. I'm wearing, like, comfy clothes. I'm wearing, like, shorts and a thing. I'm with you on the comfy. So what we normally do here is we talk about the shows and we kind of like go over them a little bit just so we can say anything that's like super dynamic or things that we want to mention. We'll talk about our Patreon and then of course our social. We're going to try to make these quicker if we can. I know in the past we've made them an hour long, but we're going to try our best to get through them quickly. And of course you guys can always leave us feedback down in the comments on this Patreon post and letting us know what kind of things you'd like to see in these things, etc. But we kind of get into the nitty gritty. So we're going to start things off with talking about the shows this month. We'll start things off with Cheese Quest. And of course, first of all, let's talk about our supporters. So Bentham, take that away.
So this month we had episodes 5 and 6 of Cheese Quest. And episode 6 was supported by Oberon Naga. I think...
which Oberon showed up, I think, in the episode.
Yes.
As a character.
Yeah, I think
Oberon
we
ended
didn't
up being an emergency replacement
we,
character for Peckling.
Yeah, we didn't announce him at the beginning because of a small mistake on our part. So to make up for it, we had a replacement character called Oberon.
So, EE, the question. Would you ever consider a Cheese Quest Season 2? I know initially when you had first come up with the show idea, you were like, this is a one-shot, or this is going to be a one series. There's no way we could do, because once you get to the Cheese Halotopia, that's it.
I think, why would
then
you
we were
leave,
talking
though?
about it, and I think you might be able to make something.
I might be able to, but I think it would have to be a different group of mice going to Cheese Halotopia.
Oh. Well, why not something happen? Oh, I guess Pecklink didn't make it to Cheese Halotopia, so maybe it won't burn down.
That's the thing. That was the plan. Pecklink turns up, burns down Cheese Halotopia, and then they move on. But then he went and died. Maybe we're like the dumpster fire raged out of control, and a few minutes later it reached Cheese Halotopia and set it all on fire.
I don't know. I did have to you have like a lunchbox drive of quite a distance to make it there, so probably not. Unless that fire burns down like half a town, which is a bit much.
Maybe it does. Maybe
sad, in California.
Yeah. We never established where it was, except I think.
Yeah, it's Britain. It was Britain. It was in the UK. So we don't have those sort of fires.
Could happen. You never know.
Well, I tried, guys. But I think if we did something for cheese, like quest style, it might be. I think the system worked really well. You did a great job of coming up with basically a whole new system using the Dungeon World stuff. So I think in general, we all thought it went pretty smoothly for just a random late night idea.
I think one of the things I think worked well about it, but also didn't work well, was the health system of how to heal and how to make sure you try and get rid of injuries, etc. And I think it worked really well. The problem is, you did such a good job of mostly avoiding it until like the last few episodes. In like the last 2 episodes, it all happened all of a sudden. And
I thought that was good because we were just like, it was becoming winter. It was getting hard to get food. I thought it made for like a really good like progression of, you know, we're living in the dream, and then all of a sudden we're on our way to Cheesehaltopia. We just beat some people up, and now we're like, holy shit, everyone's dying. We're gonna die. Will we make it? So I thought it was really cool, but it was definitely not.
I mean,
super nice.
I did enjoy that Rix got squished by an apple, and you all thought he was still alive in the corner of the lunchbox until he made it there, and you're like, Rix, we made it! You turn around, the apple rolls, and Rix just flops to the ground dead. I was like, part of me really loves this.
I was tearing up when Rix died.
I know, I saw. I made you cry like, what, 2-3 times now?
I didn't fully cry that time. I have fully cried on Layla.
Okay.
But yeah, I think generally, like, Cheese Quest went really well. It did what our expectations were for it. It was a fun show. And I think people really liked it. Moving on to our next one. Layla
one thing is, it didn't do exactly what I expected.
Oh.
Lighthearted and cutesy.
No, it didn't do that. That's true.
Genuinely, his plan was for it to be wholesome and for nothing to ever die. That's one thing he said.
No. Anything
don't get
bigger than
fire.
you. Generally, anything a good deal bigger than you wouldn't die. Things your size and smaller could die, but they die, relatively gracefully. And there would be a juxtaposition in that it is still very deadly for you as mice, because it's gonna be winter's coming and you got to travel and you got to find food. But then everything else, murder hobo happened, and you were like, oh look, there's a thing. Let's kill the thing.
I tried not to murder Hobo everything.
It's true. As a group, though.
Bubba survived. There were 2 survivors, though.
Well, from the beginning, there was... Oh, I guess, yeah. Only one PC lived the whole time, though.
The next quest line. I know what we can do. Marvel. The Adventures of Marvel.
The Adventures of Miss Marvel. She's fighting the capitalist oppressors as they try and destroy the house. She's just waging like a one-mouse guerrilla war versus them.
It's like her and a bunch of rats and like, I don't know.
Like a hamster or a guinea pig from next door.
Yeah. Can I move on to the next one now?
Only if you can get Satine to contract for long enough to do that.
I wish. The problem is, like, I know a lot of people want certain people on shows. There's a lot of people who aren't interested in being on shows at all. Like, I know a lot of our old cast that used to be on Roll4It, they're just not interested. So, like, even if I reach out to them, they're like, no, please stop talking to me. And
I don't think they're quite like that.
No one's like that.
Not like that, I'm joking.
They're just like, we
I'm not
now
interested in
have a lot of full-time other stuff.
Yeah, it's usually like, sorry, I can't make the time.
I just want people to know that they're not interested. It's just so funny to me. And then obviously people like Satine are very, very busy people, so they can only
especially
really
now she has a job at Wizards.
Yeah, which I'm so excited.
We managed to get 1 episode out of her, and we're like, okay, we can make this like the first episode of a show.
She's so down with coming back on again, so we definitely have to.
Yeah, we could get her back on for, or even possibly.
Nice.
By the way, I just want to point out, right before we discussed this show, we discussed our timetable all the way up to and fully booked.
April
fully booked.
2019.
Maybe not fully booked until
April. December. Fully booked
until the end of the year. Yeah. So we are fully booked until the end of the year now.
With like plans up till April.
With plans.
Plans up to April, yeah.
Including some very special things that we're going to start preparing soon.
I'm so excited for the special things. Anyways,
we're getting to the point where we're going to have a full year of shows planned ahead of us.
Which is so good.
Hey, it means maybe we can get people like Satine who you need to book far in advance.
Yes.
Because
that's
I
ultimately
absolutely
my
love
plan.
Satine. Satine was lovely.
Yes.
I adore her as a person. She's a great human being.
Yeah. So to get more of those people who don't have as much time, like if we can book things further in advance, it's going to be great for us. Also, making shows that allow for that type of thing easily is going to be something that we're looking at in the future, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Layla, the Vampire Slayer, we are on episodes 6 through 9 during May. I'll let Bentham talk about the supporters quick.
So we had a lot of supporters for Layla the Vampire Slayer this month, like every month. And they were, for episode 6, we had Draco Malfoy. Big fan, apparently. Managed to survive this long after all the stuff at Hogwarts, apparently. For episode 7, we have DJ Hendrix supporting. And for episode 9, we had Palimpsest supporting.
Yes, so thank you to you guys. You guys are amazing. And 6 through 9 of season 2 have been pretty cool. It's been really exciting seeing some new people joining us, because obviously we had the sisters join, and now we've got Dylan on with us, who is playing Mr. Robot. If you're watching this, you already know that. So it's kind of cool for us to actually have a lot of different characters as well. I think in season 1 we had, did we have 4 guests?
3, I think.
I think it was 3.
3 guests. Okay.
With Briarstone, we had.
No, it was 4. No.
Joshua. We had
Josh, Anna.
Anna.
I think that was it. I think it was 3.
Yeah, so we've already met the quota so far.
And we're only a few episodes in. We'll probably have some more yet.
Yeah. So we've got a little bit ways to go. How are you feeling about Layla, EE, since this has been mostly your journey?
We've hit the main part of the main plot arcs. There's effectively 2 big main plot arcs. One of which was still continuing from 1, which was following the charity line. I mean, effectively that was a continuation of the very early plot, which was what's his face, your ex-watcher.
Yeah. And we've been talking a lot about
back.
Layla in the background of just, I know some people were like, hey, maybe, we wish it would have been like a continual show. But I think when we talked about it, it became like very much a thing where he was like, no, this is a very episodic thing. So that is why we're doing seasons.
We were discussing this like a minute ago. Like,
he already told us what season 4 and season 5 is, like the general gist of it.
I think I know all the way till including season 7, at least where they're
so
set.
It's kind of cool to know that. If you are looking for the future of Layla, there's potential that as long as we continue to get great viewership, lots of support, I think that as far as like Patreon support and stuff like that, there's potential that we'll be doing a lot of Layla every year.
I also know that if it does go well and people like it, I also know the boss for season 7 and the boss for, I think, like season 5 or 6.
That's interesting. And horrifying.
Because I think I have to pay homage to the TV show somehow.
I see.
Ooh, that's good to know.
Also, the plot so far is going pretty well. I have a plot which is nearly entirely based in this season. There are some things that alluded to it last season. And there's a plot that effectively continued from last season, which was the charity arc. The charity arc was one plot that I kind of put seeds in. I put 3 seeds in last season for plots to follow. You did 2 of the 3. The charity one was started, but never really got to culmination because other things happened. Now the charity one is kind of the continuation, which I'm happy with, because you found up a lot more. You even got to talk to the person up the chain from her, or at least hear a voicemail, which was cool.
So yeah, Layla's been going great. We have many plans for Layla to continue on, pending, obviously, everything's always pending what we get Patreon support wise. But I mean, obviously, if you're watching this, you are one of our core supporters. So we really appreciate everything
people
that
watch the show. If we get good Patreon support, but people stop watching the show, obviously your priorities as a whole, maybe not you particularly, but as a whole have changed, and we want to make content that people watch. So yeah, but enjoy Layla.
Yeah, enjoy it. I hope you guys are.
She's alive.
As always, you can let us know what your guys' thoughts are on things. Code 2050 is our next one that we're going to talk a little bit about. I don't think we had a supporter. We only had episode 11 in this last month.
Episode 11 was on the very first day of this month. It feels like it was so long ago.
I didn't realize that it was part of this month. So,
what year was it? Like, was it 2017 this month? Or it feels, that was hilarious. Crazy. I got to do Carcore all the time. That's all I remember. Carcore, shouting Carcore.
I really loved the Code 2050 series. I think people have asked us what our plans are with that. I think that the viewership, unfortunately, in my opinion, was just not necessarily where we were hoping it would be. I don't know what you guys think on your end, but we did consider doing maybe something in that same like genre, like sci-fi, or
I think we're definitely going to do sci-fi things, but yeah. Well, didn't really touch on the cyberpunk traditionals. I think it was more sort of a postmodern, post-cyberpunk.
It was more cyber than punk. Was what
it was post-cyberpunk.
I think that was something that we had all talked about. Was like we didn't get the cyberpunk feel like that we were expecting from it. But I think that was more not because of the system. It was more because of the way that they had built their story.
It was effectively the setting, not the actual system setting, but the setting of the story.
So I think that like we could see ourselves using that system and setting for maybe future shows.
I do dig their system, and their classes are well designed.
The subclasses were great. I really liked the
and if you watch through the whole Code 2050 show and the series and the story, like I actually think Kyokri and the crew did a really great job of making some very great, simple, episodic things that like we got through everything, and I think they did such a great job. I loved the beginning parts too, and the little throw-ins with the bad guy and stuff like that. Like there were some really cool aspects of it. I think it's unfortunate that it didn't do as well as they were hoping it would. And I don't know where they are on a Kickstarter. I know, Bentham, you were kind of looking at that every once in a while, right?
It just failed.
Yeah. So I think unfortunately we weren't able to.
Printing rule books is expensive.
It is.
I think they were going the whole hog on printing rule books, so it was going to be a relatively high threshold, which sadly they made about a third.
And I would like to mention that we have no say in like what they were doing. We were just like a kind of side project working with them to showcase this really cool system that are.
Also, from a legal aspect, we have never been paid to say anything about the show as peoples, so this is not advertorial, nor is it sponsored.
No, we're just
the show itself was produced in association because they paid some of the costs, but as peoples, we're just talking as peoples and as Roll4It.
This concludes the message from our legal department.
Yeah. Now I'll take you back to the CEO. Hi. Just turn the chair around each time.
Yeah, that's good. I like
Put
it.
on a mustache.
Oh yeah, you got to put the mustache on. But I think generally, like,
this is the legal department speaking.
I think generally, our perspective on things is always that we're willing to try things out, test them out, and obviously the third show was like something that we just did as a bonus. So we hope that you guys did enjoy it. I know some people did message us and say 3 shows was too much, but 3 shows does not necessarily mean you're going to have to watch all 3 shows.
Oh yeah, no, the shows are slightly different to try and cater to different people. I know some people prefer cyberpunk or transhumanism stuff. Some people prefer classic D&Ds, and some people prefer high school hijinks. So pick and mix. You don't have to watch. If you watch all of them, then great. If you want to watch all of them,
cater to all of them.
You've got choice.
Oh yeah, we would love for you to watch all of them, but I understand not everyone can dedicate that much time. But yeah. So in general, I think for Code 2050, we all have a lot of feels. We want to, give as much love to that crew, to Legendary Pants as possible. I think that what they built was really awesome. It's unfortunate that they weren't able to get all the support they needed to do maybe all of the things that they wanted.
I believe they've mentioned maybe coming back to the Kickstarter after changing some things up and doing another one. So that'll be something to look out for. I do
maybe
really
they'll
dig the
reach out to us to consult with them, because I think
I would love to see them succeed with that and to get.
And they're also really nice people.
They're great. Obviously, if you watched our interview with them, I did a little interview with them, and that was so much fun, just getting to know them, getting to know their business. It's very much a family thing. So yeah, I don't want to talk too much about that.
I love the Q&A. I wish more people watched it. A lot of people didn't tune in, and I felt like it was a really fascinating thing.
I know I call everyone we work with really nice people. Like I was saying about Satine, she's nice people. I'm saying about them, they're really nice people. But there is a reason for that. It's because I generally have a rule that we don't work with assholes. So...
And honestly, if you break a contract with us, we have to let you go. So it's one of those things. So he's been being good at being the hard ass. He's the bad cop.
Oh yeah, no. I promise I'm not even having to pretend. I actually apparently out of this group I am the bad cop, which I'm fine with.
Which makes a lot of sense. Next up is going to be, although you're training us all to become bad cops.
I'm trying. It's really difficult. They're such nice people. Come on, Pete. Come on.
Next up is going to be Naxtamun's Temple, and I'll let Bentham start off with that. We're halfway through.
Yeah, so we've had the first 2 episodes, and the supporters for those where episode 1 was supported by Sim, and episode 2 was supported by Miss Amy Hoyle.
Thank you, guys. I'm so excited that I've been able to do Naxtamun's Temple. It has been really fun for me. It was something that I had kind of put together fairly quickly because we're like, hey, we have a 4-week shot. We kind of wanted to test some D&D ideas that we had, and I was able to fortunately do something that I have had ideas for. So I'm glad it worked, because this was kind of the treasure hunters stuff was something that I was like, I could always do that as a quick few sessions, 4 episodes, 1 episode, because it's one of those ideas where it's like you just go into a dungeon and you dungeon crawl. So I'm glad that people have been liking it, and we're technically on week 3 for us, so next week for us is the TPK.
Yeah, we're all gonna die.
I hope.
I gotta say, it has been really fun. I very much enjoyed my character. I think that's probably one of my favorite D&D characters.
Ooh.
I think
it's pretty crazy. You basically pick things up and throw them around. It's nuts. Level 10 is crazy. Like, I always see people in chat or in the comments saying like, oh my god, these characters are insane, because it's like they have so much utility. I think Bentham at one point was like, I have so many things to do. I get to do a different thing every turn. I was like, yeah, that's the beauty of it.
I think it was either episode 1 or our practice session. There was a combat, like the first combat we did, where every round I cast a different spell. And so that's pretty neat. That it's a complete change from low level spell casting.
Yeah, because it's like at low level, you're always basically every round you're doing the same thing. I think it's great for learning because you learn your abilities, you learn what your rotations, but and like how your spell slots work. But once you get to higher level, there's so many cool things. You can think about combat with like more of a utilitarian mind, and you can actually look at the environment and be like, ooh, how can I use that? Not only the environment, but also like everything else that's going on.
That's one of the reasons that I did my characters more, because I was like, I normally play a spellcaster. I'm gonna try and not play a spellcaster because I like what Benson said. I like to be able to have all these different toys. I was like, how can I make someone who's effectively a fighter who can be utility and help and do things? And I was like, right, I want to push the limits to the max and be like, right, what can I do as an attack? I can grapple, I can knock down, I can push away, and I can do damage. Let's use all of them. So I was trying to build a character to do that, and I think it works quite nicely. I'm quite pleased with it. Like, the last fight we had...
Honestly, you guys as a group have just come together so well. Like, you guys play very well together. Even in our practice session, you guys just fell into place. You're like, I'm the tank, I'm the support, I'm the support tank.
You say that. In our practice session, I jammed a corridor with a Bahir and made everyone be like, what the hell have you done? Clunk. It's a
you put up a giant Bahir booty in their face, so...
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
and then got eaten by it.
Yeah, I got out.
Also, that was kind of your fault, though, Bentham. You did a lot of lightning damage to it, or you did a lot of fire damage to it, so it turned around and like lightning breath them all. And they were in a small corridor.
That didn't go so well.
I do have to say, to Maggie's credit, my 2 favorite D&D characters have been both in campaigns she's run.
Is it the wizard? The other wizard?
It is Pyre. Pyre was
that guy was yeah. So I'm definitely been having a lot of fun. I love D&D. If you guys haven't seen, I'm clearly loving DMing. I think that my first bit of having been able to do that has just been really exciting. So I'm glad people are letting me do it some more, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Moving on to our legendary tier stuff. I think Bentham was going to take that, but basically Josh did a Vampire Masquerade, and I wish I could have done it with him. I want to get in on one of his Vampire Masquerade sessions.
So from what I gather from that session, there were 5 players in it from the Legend tier, and I think what happened was they all went very
obvious.
Very min-maxy with their characters or something like that, and they picked a lot of really wacky builds that were meant to be really strong. But the thing is that by picking wacky things that were meant to be strong, they also picked terrifying horror vampires, and basically they were all murder hobos. And so I think Josh turned up, looked at what they made, and is like, right.
They also
You're
broke
all
the Masquerade, right?
I think they broke the Masquerade as well, one way or another. So it's like, you're all abominations. Everyone's terrified of you. Vampires are after you and are trying to kill you.
Here's the thing. Your number 1 rule is don't break the Masquerade.
Yeah.
Unless you play Requiem, in which case things have changed.
There hasn't been a good track record for Josh's Legends games, because I think they nearly broke the Masquerade in the first one as well. And then this one,
I think it's because people who haven't played a lot of it are like, the Masquerade's more like guidelines. It's like, no. I insisted about it in general, I just don't much about the world, but I was talking to Mathis, who loves the world, and he was saying that Rec Room's different because somehow the Masquerade changes, and then it becomes more regional and stuff, and I was like, this sounds really interesting. Tell me more.
Because there's some areas that are basically taken over by vampires or taken over by creatures, so that's why. So basically, you'll have a town that is run by, like, people, and then they'll have ghouls or people or like groupies or things like that who they want to like be friends with those guys, so they'll do their bidding, or like ghouls will do the bidding for vampires because they want to drink the vampire blood. It's weird. So there's a lot of interesting. Oh my god, yeah. Mathis is a great person to talk to about that because Mathis is insanely into it.
Notice how I just have to mention Vampire the Masquerade and Requiem, and instantly Maggie's like, "Oh my god, all the things I want to splurge a dog."
I love that system, so I'm very sad I have not gotten to play any of that, which is a perfect segue to our new show, which is Project Gloom, that you guys have probably seen. It's actually been in the plans for months at this point, so you guys have
we planned it. We started planning it before we started planning.
Is Gloom our most pre-planned project yet?
Yes,
quite possibly.
Yeah, it was planned like 2.5 months ago or something.
Yep. I'm trying to be good about it. I think like what we did today, it was a long meeting, but I think it helped us a lot know what is going on in the future, and we'll be able to book people for a long time. Also, we had a lot of theorizing for most of our meeting. If
you're wondering what the Powerball's numbers are next year on February the 16th, Maggie knows. She has them in her diary. We have pre-planned. We know everything.
Project Gloom has a name now. It is called Just Around the Corner. It is going to be a very spooky, creepy, horror type of game. We have some amazing cast members who we're not going to announce yet, but they will be announced next week on Saturday. If you're watching this, it'll be Saturday, January. Oh my god, I'm in January? June.
You can't guess at all from Discord.
Yeah, you can't guess it all. Well, there's a lot of weird other names in there. They might think that,
Oh yeah, but they certainly know at least one of the names.
Yes. And of course, Mathis is DMing that. He's the perfect person to DM that project. I think he does an amazing job with creepy stuff. He also does a podcast that revolves around that. So I think he's going to be amazing. And there's a couple other people that are on that project that have done that type of stuff. And they do such a good job.
I can't wait because some of the characters are really cool. And I actually, I don't know one of the characters very well yet. But all the other three, it's just like, oh my god, really?
I've gotten all the descriptions for them, and I have I'm going to be booking the artist tomorrow to start working on their character.
I haven't heard about the last one. I totally have to pick your brains afterwards because I want to know the full. At least 3 of them. This is like this is the group. This is the group that are going to investigate the spooky shenanigans. Really, this group.
Yeah. Think about this. It's I guess I can give you guys a little bit more details. It's set in suburbia. So it's like set in suburbia. You have like the house, the soccer moms, it's like a nice suburbia life, think about that as like the basis of it. And then you've got some creepy ass shit happening. So I don't want to give away too much, but that's basically to get you guys in the vibe of it all. But I think it's going to be really exciting and fun. I really, really hope it does well. So yeah. I had fun. I had fun recruiting for that show.
Because initially Maggie was actually going to be on the show, but then unfortunately scheduling difficulties happened.
They don't know that I'm not on the show. Now they knew because you said that.
And they already know if they're this level supported. They check the Discord.
But also, I'm on the show still. Technically, I'm flat.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, I should change that. Whoops.
Yeah, you should take her off. She's not allowed to be in it. She's not allowed to know anything.
But she's an admin.
I have to plan out the thing.
Yeah, you're still as an admin. You can see it. Anyway,
oh my God.
I want to say things that I just can't say, and I'm like, I really want to talk about things.
Yeah, don't
You'll
say anything.
Find out soon enough.
Yes, and we'll be announcing all the characters throughout the week before, so you guys, you know the drill at this point. But I'm very excited for it.
And we are getting character art done for that, so you will see some pretty cool stuff. And I'm going to use that for a little intro video as well. So.
Tomorrow for me, I'm going to be doing that, which is exciting. Oh yeah, and we're making an intro video. We're doing the whole 9 yards. So as you can tell, this might be a little bit of a longer show. So
yeah, I'm just waiting on the character art to do the video, but I'm pretty sure I know which sort of format I'm going to do. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and you know the art style that he's going to make. So cool. Next up is going to be Patreon stuff. I'm going to actually let Bentham kind of take this part away.
Okay, so current situation of the various different gold stuff we're doing. We got our poster out for the April poster, which comes out in May. We have this system where we name them and then they come out like the beginning of the next.
Well, it was worked on in April.
Yeah, it was worked on in April, and it's the April poster, and that is the Cheese Quest poster made by Ilsa of the mice going across the river while the Godfather looks on from the distance.
Hey, what are you doing? What's that river?
Can we have a Bubba I'm a boat?
I'm a boat.
That always cracks me up.
It's the best line.
He says it so many times too.
He says it so monotone, but you tell he's
what
enjoyed.
A boat is, and then he's like,
I know.
Oh,
I was like,
I can do all of those things.
Yeah, and the thing is, you didn't think about it and say it. You just said it off the bat. Like the timing was great, and I was going into that, and the beginning thought in my head was so basically anything is a but. I'm a but. I was like, that was so quick. Well done. I want to give you drum pop. That's another thing.
Also, her with the eating the fish.
Yeah, it's like there's a head.
Episodes later, Bubba became a boat.
Yeah,
it was complete.
I was a boat.
You were a submarine in one of the episodes. You went under the river and you saved everyone.
Well, I started not submarining, but then had to.
Oh, well, then Pecklink was like, I get stuck, and then you pulled Pecklink through. You saved everyone there.
Hey, that string came in handy.
I know. I was surprised. I was like, you have a bit of string. Oh, suddenly you use a bit of string. Cool. Anyway, sorry.
So yes, that was our poster for April, and then the poster coming out this month, the May poster. It makes sense in our heads. That one is in some stage of progress. Should we tell them what show it's from?
Oh yeah, you're working on
not contracted yet because I'm still waiting on the final mounts and stuff.
We can't tell you what. Well, we know what we've decided on. It doesn't matter who the artist is.
We actually have the next two ones kind of planned. So that one EE's working with the artist on, and then the other one I will be working with an artist on. We kind of swap up artists so that we can have two things happening at once. It gets a little crazy.
And we can get some different styles. And I know people prefer some styles.
Yeah. We actually, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we have been doing different styles every time. I think it kind of makes it more exciting. And we can also find somebody who does the right art style for what we want. I know someone had requested a Layla like 8-bit type of style thing. I don't know. It might be interesting to do. I was thinking like a metal shirt would be cool.
So far, I don't think we've ever had any one artist make more than 2 posters. We keep trying out different.
Yeah,
ones.
how many did Wes make? Did he make 2?
I think Wes made 2. I think it was a Layla one and the Star Trek one.
And for those who are curious about Wes, I think he basically is unable to, unfortunately,
he's got a full-time art job anyway, so
yes. And so his last thing was with us. He's like, "Hey, if you only need 1 character made," I was like, "We're never gonna need just 1 character. It's always gonna be at least 4." So
yeah, recently we've been picking lots of different artists for different sort of styles. So we're like, let's do a sort of a more like somber one. Let's try Oliver for that. And I'm like, no, we want
that one made me emotional. Ollie did such a good job with the Layla Christmas one.
And then we went with action for a while with I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Tarja?
Is it that though? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. Okay, I know it looks weird.
I'll go with Tarja. And then
it's not spelled like Tarja.
It's actually not spelled like that at all because the letters aren't actually Latin
characters.
Like
but it's something.
Yeah, but it's changed into Latin characters, which means that the pronunciation is not based on the Latin. It's pronounced Tarja.
Okay. I'll go with Tarja.
It does not look like Tarja at all, so I don't blame Bentham.
Now we want a cute sort of relaxing scene, so we went with Ilsa because she did the art for Cheese Quest in the first place. So yeah,
she already knew the characters and stuff, so it worked out real well.
We're still deciding exactly where we're going with this one, but can we say what show it is? Because
I wouldn't, just in case we end up having to change it because we can't get an artist for the style we want.
We can't tell you what it's going to be.
Until it's contracted, we don't say anything because it could change.
Well, art piece, we know what art piece we want.
It might change if we can't find a person who can do that art piece.
Okay, I guess. Ooh, look, finally, EE's the one that's holding out information.
Hey, when it comes to legal. Sorry, this is.
We have art.
Wait.
This is the power of the CEO. He gives the spoilers and he takes the spoilers away.
Wait, there we go. I have the legal mustache on. You can't say anything. It's legal.
I said this was going to be quick.
Okay,
it's not.
So,
sorry, guys.
I'm sorry. Moving on. So, the comics. The comic. We're working on the comic, and we've just seen the almost like final.
We saw the final art. Oh no, we have
almost
one more
final. There's slight tweaks, but basically final.
Oh my god, the small.
We've given our feedback for the 95% complete draft, and we also need to decide exactly how the front cover is.
Can we announce to these people who's doing it, because we've contracted them? So
no. I don't want. I want that to be a big announce. I want that to be a big announce.
I sort of want I want people to just like see it and be like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, I think
seriously.
So, yeah. Here's the thing. I think when you guys see who in EE, please do not give spoilers for this, because I think when you guys see it and you know who does it, you guys are gonna lose your shit, and you guys are gonna be so excited because it is. We had like no edits. Like that is amazing. The only edits we've had are like
slight things about color or like adjustments in the background. Like everything main was great.
Oh, and fixing a continuity error that we made.
I made.
Yeah. Yeah.
They actually got it correct more than me, and I was like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, they put the right number. The
door number I said for Layla and Imogen's room in episode 1 I said was 17, and then I like halfway through season 1 when they asked what the door number was, I was like 13. I think that's a problem that I didn't note it in episode 1, but it was actually meant to be 13 all along because I wanted you to have a funny door number, because obviously funnies.
13, yeah.
And so I said 17 episode 1 when it wasn't actually the case. And they put on the thing 17, and I was like, and Maggie was like, that's the wrong door number, isn't it? And Beth was like, I think that's the wrong door number. And I went, that might actually be right.
And then I went back and rewatched the episode to find the number. I was like, no, they had it right.
As soon as you said it, I was like, I'm pretty sure I may have done that. Whoops, that's my bad. So it's been changed.
I just want to say that it is always hard to find an artist who could do exactly what you were envisioning. And this person has done an amazing job of just doing exactly what we're thinking. So I'm very excited. I think you guys are going to be very excited.
I think that it was better than I thought it could even possibly be. And I think you will have to... I straight up, I think you're probably going to be like, oh, you're just overhyping it. Or maybe in the back of your mind you think that, but no, genuinely, It is amazing.
So if we stay
my only regret is that we can't deliver more comic at a time.
Yeah, it is expensive. It is expensive.
Also, only so much time can be dedicated by said person.
Oh, that person, yeah.
Yeah. So...
It takes time to make a comic.
Well, they could commit to that much if we paid them more. It would be even more, but it would be very expensive. I think that from our standpoint on our end, it has been, I think that's probably the easier on them for how many pages we're getting. But I think that you guys are going to really love it as long as we stay at that goal front. The goal for us is to be able to provide like a whole comic for Layla season 1, which will take a while to get to, but I think you guys will love every bit of it. And when it's complete, I think hopefully our merch stuff is all finalized, and we plan to like print out some of those books.
I think the main part is to start with Layla Arc 1, which ends at the Pennymead thing, because I think that's a complete thing, and see if the response is good. Hoping it is, because it looks good. And then we can do other comics of other shows if the response isn't amazing, and if the response is amazing, like I think it should be because it's amazing, then we can continue from there. Like it's seriously
and we have to stay at the goal. So as long as we stay at that comic book goal, we will continue to do that. And obviously, like EU was saying, we can always change up the comic to be a different comic if that is not getting enough
people
love.
say they like the idea of comic, or they like the comic but they prefer this, or maybe they just love this other show, then we can change it. But at the moment, this seriously, it looks so good. Yeah,
it's really great. So we're really trying not to overhype it, but I think we're all just very excited.
We're very hyped.
We've been planning it for months and months on time. Like basically when the animation stuff ended, I think we immediately started working with. We actually contacted like 3 or 4 people.
And I think we suggested, we all kind of went, so what about so and so? And they were like, yeah, so and so. And I was like, so and so. So and so, and we just were like instantly like, maybe they would be
just taunting them, EE.
Yeah.
But also, I want to just point out, we were actually so hyped about it because as soon as we started the initial meeting before recording this, and Maggie said, "Oh, we've extra comic book stuff." Instantly, me and Benson stopped what we were doing, went to the link, and went, "Where? It's taking time to load faster." That's actually not even hyper. That's what we did.
It has been very exciting.
We're very excited, and we hope you're excited too.
Yeah.
Basically.
So. The plan is, as soon as that's done, which should be this week sometime, it might come out this week or maybe next week. So it depends on if we decide to wait on the cover or not, which we might. But I think like the cover is very important since it's going to be like for the whole entire series. So we've been a little bit more picky with the cover. So I hope they don't mind that. And we're willing to pay to make sure that it's perfect.
If you do me a favor, everyone watching this, because there's only like a handful of you, just make sure you keep the hype up in the Layla chat if you dig that sort of thing. Just make sure everyone else is aware that the comic is amazing and that they should wait for it because it's going to be so good.
Not even in the Layla, in just
in Harbor. On your front lawn.
Let everyone know.
Post-it notes on boards. Bumper
What
stickers.
I'm excited to see is if people read the comic and haven't watched the series and end up liking the comic so much that they come watch the series. Like, wouldn't that be an interesting concept? Like, it's such a different thing. And talking about the comic, and I have been talking to these guys a little bit about it, and we are doing a revamp. So if you guys have not checked out our Patreon for that post, give us feedback.
Yeah. And if you do see the comic and you do like it, it's also useful to get the feedback of, yes, we like the comic book goal. If you don't, also it's useful to know if you don't like the idea of a comic book goal, but wait until you see the comic before making a decision.
I kind of want to make our posters be similar to the comic, where as long as we set that poster goal, we publicly post the poster, because that would be a cool piece to show to more than just Patreons. But I think that's a discussion that we'll probably
also if you prefer the comic to the posters, let us know, and we might change the goals around so that if it does go down, the first thing we drop is a poster instead of the comic. It's entirely up to that sort of thing.
I don't think that's the case, because
no. It's just
the poster's way cheaper than the comic.
Oh yeah, but it's just general good information to get back from people is what they like and what they really like. So.
I think just we need more goal ideas is honestly what we need.
Basically, when we do get some information back from people, and some people don't fill out information because they say, I like everything, that's good to know.
We've got that.
We'd prefer to know you like this and this and this a lot and that a ton, so that we know what your priorities are.
Yeah. I think from my perspective, I want to know what other things you'd like to see, because that helps us move on with the future, because obviously the things that we're doing hopefully are good, and if we aren't doing something right, we'd like to fix that. It's good to know that we're doing good stuff, but also we just want to know what we can do better and what other ideas people have. So
okay,
Bentham.
So on the merch front, we are now trademarked in the EU.
Yeah,
we're still working in the US, so we're not all the way there, but that is a very good, nice step. The fact that it succeeded is always nice.
Where we are in the US front?
No, I'm waiting for feedback on that. I sent an email, I haven't got a reply to it. I'm going to follow that up in a bit.
It's a good indication because we got it in a place rather than not getting it in that place.
That means we could potentially get it in the US. So just so you guys can follow along, I think if you've been watching all of these, you know our tough journey, but there are some other people who have similar names to us, so it's been a struggle. There was a time where we were like, what if we have to rebrand? And all of us were like, no, because we had just gotten a new art for all of Roll4It.
Well, the good news is we can be Roll4It forever now. We just have to be Roll4It forever in the EU. So if you want US merch, the worst case scenario is you have to pay shipping, which we have to do from the US anyway, speaking as someone who lives in the EU. So sucks to be you. I mean, maybe we'll pay for your shipping, Maggie.
Okay. You could ship them to me, and then I could ship them. No, that'd be way too much work.
That would also then...
I take that all back. Not doing that. Nope.
Also, that would
you want to turn your house into a Roll4It merch warehouse? Yeah, sure.
No,
it would also mean that you would be either a reseller or you'd be an outlet, which would then mean that we would need the trademark there, or we could be opposed there. So, no, that does not work.
Oh, true, yeah.
That's why they have to pay shipping.
I don't know this shit.
You didn't have your legal department.
How to sell stuff and how to make stuff and how to market.
Run out of sticky.
So merch stuff, as soon as we get the word on the NA portion, we will be working very, very hard to get you guys some cool stuff. We want to do more than just like the shirts slapping on logos on stuff. Like, we want to actually make really cool art pieces and things that like you guys will love and you'll want to keep forever.
Vampire bunny slippers.
Definitely need bunny slippers. Anthem, anything else you want to talk a little bit about?
That's all on the merch front. It's good that there's stuff on the merch front, and hopefully we'll be able to continue making progress with that.
In my point of view as legal, I have to say that, sorry, legal works on a very slow time scale. I can't make trademark departments. Like, the US Patent Office is just... I mean, it's not the patent office, but whatever. The US trademarking, it's slow, and it will never be faster. And there is no excuse for that.
Slow and it's old-fashioned.
It's also incredibly, incredibly expensive. Because paying lawyers money means you have to pay lawyers money, which is expensive.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to talk about numbers, but it is expensive. Like,
roughly speaking, about a month's turnover for the Patreon. Like, not going into full detail, but yes. Yeah. Roughly speaking.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's like...
I just know that it has cost us a lot.
That's basically cast for 2 shows equivalent, like, because cast 2 shows is the Patreon. So yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a necessary thing, sadly, and It's one of these things that we don't really normally include in the calculations for second shows and stuff on there. So it's really only able to be done because we also have things like, you know, YouTubes and Twitches and people tip and stuff. So it's kind of one of these things that we can do thanks to the great community support.
YouTube
beyond Patreon as well.
YouTube doesn't get any money anymore.
No, YouTube gets some.
We actually talked about it. We have a lot of YouTube Red people who watch our videos. It's been nice.
YouTube Red normally makes
I'm a
decent
YouTube Red person, so I'm probably adding to that.
But for us, it makes about 50% of the entire money from YouTube because we have so many YouTube Red people. So if you are a YouTube Red person,
not a lot of money, but it is.
Like few of you that are going to see this, which is statistically unlikely, but that's why YouTube Red actually pays quite a lot to creators. Which would be helpful if YouTube told us that before they launched it, but, you know, they preferred to tell people it's actually going to be terrible.
It'd be nice if they decided it was a success like it is and continued to do stuff with it and bring it to the UK and stuff.
There was some information on that. Do you want to hear what it was?
Was it they can't be bothered?
No. One of the YouTube Twitters, like Team YouTube or something, said, "Oh, yeah, we are. Don't worry, we've got plans." And then that blog, here's a blog post that says, and it's like, that blog post doesn't actually. That doesn't say anything about that. Oh. But we have plans. How about this? That also doesn't say anything. Do you even know what we're talking? Have you?
I've been waiting for it to come to the UK for so long. I'd probably get it. I'm YouTube. Let me give you money.
Now I just would probably not get it out of spite.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyway,
I want to give you money. Make it easy for me to give you money.
That's an entire other thing. Last thing for Patreon, we've got the Patreon numbers. Again. Patreon is weird at how it tells me what is going on with the numbers. So on one, it says that we've gone down by 2, but if I count it, we've gone down by 11. So, and our current number of patrons is 597.
Also, as finance, I do have to step in and say that the turnover for the month happened at a time when Visa had issues, mainly in Europe, and we're having a lot of transactions bounced. So we have no information about whether that is affecting that or not. We did actually have our entire Patreon decrease by like 2,000 for a few hours.
Yeah, that was I looked at heart attack for all three of us. All three of us like looked on the Patreon, went, "Where's half the money gone?" And then I was like, let me find where it's gone. I'm like, okay, everything's borked. And then they turn over like, where's the money gone? I'm like, it's okay, everything's just borked. This is normal for...
It was one of these cases where Benson goes, it's borked. Wait, things are just a bit broken. And then Maggie comes in and goes, where's the money? And Benson goes, no, it's just a bit broken. And then I come in and go, where's the money? It's like...
Yeah, I made the mistake of seeing it and being like, I should tell Lee and Maggie about this. Oh, look, a squirrel.
This is why we have a Benson.
Oh my god.
But yes, Visa had major issues for like a day or so.
Well, I think I was at work, and then I was like, Bentham gave me a link. He's like, hey, here, post this. And then when I went, of course, I'm going to the Patreon to post the thing, and then I'm posting all the social. And then I go to look at Patreon because I usually go check the messages every day, and I'll reply to a bunch of messages that you guys send us. So please keep sending us messages. And then I look at the number, and I'm like, what just happened? And then I'm looking at like, you know, because I can see when people downgrade or upgrade or leave and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is happening? And so Bentham like fill this in, but I like freaked out for a moment.
Yeah,
it showed that we only had $2,000 or something. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, so
that's not even enough to pay like one show.
It turns out that effectively what happened was that Visa had major issues, primarily in Europe. And a lot of transactions were bouncing, a large amount of them, for about a day or something. And it just happened to be the day when Patreon put the payments through. That's great, because, you know, that wouldn't be problematic paying cast or anything. We like paying our cast. We don't want to be the guys who don't pay our cast. Don't make us those people, Visa. Visa, get your act together.
Okay.
That's my
Anything else you want to talk about on Patreon?
That's all the Patreon stuff.
Yeah, I think generally we know stuff is not, it's kind of stagnant and staying the same. We think that a lot of that has to do with, you know, people who are already our fans, or obviously you guys are all amazing in supporting us. We need to find ways to like make it more enticing for new people to come and be part of the crew.
We have cunning plans.
Yeah, so we've got some plans, we have some ideas, and obviously that first stage of that is the what I should call summer cleaning instead of spring cleaning, where you guys tell us kind of new goals that you'd like to see. And we'll advertise them. Moving on, talk a little bit about Twitch and how we've been doing on Twitch. I think in general, it's been interesting on the tabletop front because we're competing with a lot of shows. There's a lot more tabletop shows. We're generally usually the top 2, top 3, pending what shows are up there. And we're usually competing with big people like D&D itself, Hyper RPG, Geek and Sundry. So like we're up against people who have huge studios. They stream every single day. They have lots of more money than we do. Unfortunately, that is what we're up against. But I think generally we've been doing a really good job.
I would still like to point out that generally we still pay our cast better than the people who are bigger than us.
Which is crazy.
Which I don't think is a good thing for us. I think it's a bad thing for them. I think we pay our cast quite
reasonably.
It's
a bad thing for them. It's amazing that we're able to do that thanks to you guys. So generally our peak views are, a little bit lower than normal, but not by much. So basically all of our numbers are down a little bit, but not by much. So I think average views, followers, views gained, everything on that front has been pretty good. I think we're on the front of emotes. Bentham is on the next stages of that, right?
Yes, that's in progress now.
We expect them.
We're going to have very soon.
Less than a week, right?
We'll probably get the final ones this time next week, and then maybe I don't know how long Twitch takes to work out emotes. So do they take no time?
We're a partner, so they upload pretty quick. It just takes time for the cache to change.
If they share, so here's the thing: if they share the name, if we're gonna for instance, if I have Mag High and I'm gonna replace it by another Mag High, you have to basically remove all of them, wait a few hours, then upload, and it automatically uploads. But if it's not sharing something and you're making like a whole new name, you're fine. You can upload it instantly and it'll go up.
I think effectively we just need a few hours. So
it just takes a little, a couple of minutes for the system to put it in. Use it.
If our artist works super fast, then there's a small chance you might have them ready for next weekend, but it's probably going to be the weekend after.
Ooh, exciting! Yeah, I can't wait for them. I'm very excited for them. I especially really, really want to see the LOL one because I use LOL for everything all the time. That is an emote in my life.
I think it's on the mail job.
Really well. We hit over 12,000 followers on Twitch, which is pretty awesome for us. I think we need to push the following button a little bit more, but being over 12K is awesome. I know it sounds really silly to kind of look at those numbers, but when it comes to sponsorships, they're always like, well, how many followers do you have? And if you're like, well, we compete viewership-wise with all of these bigger people, but we only have 12,000 followers, which I think speaks a lot, but not everyone looks at that, unfortunately. But yeah, we're doing great. We're doing good on that front, and I'm going to toss it over to E to talk a little bit about YouTube.
I am suffering from the fact that I aerosolized a lot of dust in the last 4 hours because I took the side of my PC.
He was vacuuming the air.
Oh yeah, I needed cleaning.
This is the.
Bentham had earphones on, and he started.
I did warn you
with a Hoover. I'm like, okay.
No, I did warn. I did say before I turned the Hoover on. I gave you prior notice. So I need to talk about YouTube. So. I shouldn't be looking at the contract here. Where's the thing? There it is. Hello. We gained just shy of 200 subs. We get 199. And I know this isn't going to make sense, but this is how the YouTube presents it. We now have 8,807 subs, and last month we had 8,714. I told you. I'd just go with it. We had...
Are you using the new dashboard? I don't like the new dashboard.
We also had our most watched video as
here we go.
Naxtamun's Temple episode 1 at 5,008 views.
Which, first of all, is crazy because it's only halfway through the month.
Yeah, it came out on the 20th. It's not been long. It's doing pretty well.
Yeah, which has never happened. Normally, our video that has the most views is one that was out the longest, which makes the most sense. So, thank you. That makes me feel amazing because I like it's my baby. So I'm glad people like it.
I think they just want to see more tempo.
Maybe it is the tempo.
They want to find out what is in Tempo's throat.
True. Tempo is pretty funny. Fuzzy's been a great addition too, so I've been really enjoying having her on. She cracks me up so much.
Oh god, she's a terrible influence on me.
She's basically you. Like, she's like the female version of you. Someone said that in the YouTube comments, and I'm like, oh no, what have I done?
Put us on the same show together, Maggie. It's your fault.
No, it's great because you guys come up with ridiculous theories on shit.
We've got enough people to assemble like a dream team of lewdness now, of like E, Fuzzy, Josh,
Can I DM a made RPG?
Lauren,
like
probably.
a legit made RPG?
Yes, me, Fuzzy, Josh, Lauren, you GMing. That's lewd. That's it. Put that in the notes. Actually, put that in the notes.
I made a terrible mistake.
I added it. I added it to the. I mean, Made RPG has been on our list.
Oh,
so basically, I made this list of like all the shows we want to do. We're not even close to doing them all.
We have got a lot of them scheduled now. Also, I'd like to point out that we came up with a team name in the first episode and it stuck, and I'm glad people took it on. Team Fisting and the 10-foot pole. It's now Team Fisting and the 50-foot pole, thanks to Maggie. And it works great because we also have emotes for it. You just do the fist like that emote,
You know, if
and then
you would have
5 and then
looted
0
that other
emote.
room, there was another pole in there.
How big was the pole?
I don't know. You will never know.
Was it more than 50 foot? Then it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
We got the 50-foot pole. That's all that matters. Also, it turns into a
Think
dagger.
size doesn't matter, or
Are you saying size? Oh,
Size doesn't matter.
no.
It's how you fist it.
oh god,
Yeah.
that's not subtle at all.
It's horrifying. Why? Sorry, guys. This is probably going to be the
a
longest
perfectly
show.
good joke.
I was saying how I was trying to make this the shortest newsletter. We're going to make it the longest.
We're gonna make it 50 foot.
Make it sure. Moving on to social. Social media, we kind of expected to go down because we didn't have a third show, so we aren't posting as much. So you would expect to like have lower view or lower numbers, but we actually increased in numbers, which is kind of crazy. Not in followers, but our followers are still pretty great. How many followers do we have? We have over 2,000 now, which is pretty awesome. I didn't actually put that on the list. I have just how many we increased. Yeah, we're 2,404. Ooh, we're almost at 2,500. We're at the 2.5 mark. That's exciting. For impressions, we're at 534,000. That's insane. That is actually more than last month, so that's pretty cool. I like big numbers. Generally, we've been doing good as far as mentions, profile views. We did less tweets, like I said before, but generally those numbers, we're still getting the impressions that we're expecting, which is insane. And our top tweet was actually announcing Tempo and Eric on Layla the Vampire Slayer, which is great. They were amazing.
I mean, obviously, we love Tempo because Naxtamun's, but also Eric was so good. It was just an absolute joy to work with him.
He's a fantastic person just in general, so we would love to try to get him involved in some more stuff in the future. He knows a ton of systems.
Yeah.
He's DM'd a lot as well, so it's cool to have some people who understand systems very easily. The next thing is our top mention was actually a tweet from me, which is a little awkward. It was just me randomly tweeting that my GM planning and how excited I was for it, and I posted a photo of like all my books.
How dare people interact with a post about how excited you are? You know, all those likes and stuff.
It's pretty cool. And then our top media tweet was our Naxtamun's announcement, announcing that I was GMing, and then also that we were launching and the date and the system. So that's cool. It makes a lot of sense because it follows in suit with everything else that we've seen so far as number wise. So
what you're
in
saying
general,
is people seem to like Dungeons and Dragons. Who could have guessed?
That's what we're seeing is people like Dungeons and Dragons.
I wonder
But not
why.
just Dungeons and Dragons. I think they like the harder content because Code 2050 was Dungeons and Dragons. I know where you're going with it. Keep your 10-foot pole to yourself, okay? And well, they like pirates as well. So I think
I like the fact you went to straight to the fact that they like Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, more than that, I think they like hard Dungeons and Dragons. Not straight to the fact that maybe they like you GMing. No, let's just skip straight over that.
No, they don't like me GMing. I'm still learning. I'm a bab at the GMing stuff.
So you're a bab, but he's a beb. What am I? Am I Bob? Bib? Bub?
Oh, I see where you're
You
going.
can't be Bob, but you could be Bob or Bib.
Bib. I don't know where we're going with this. This
Bib.
got weird. Facebook
This
This
got
is
weird.
a good
Sorry.
naming convention. How are we going to tell each other apart?
This got weird. This just now got weird.
This whole journey has been weird.
This was
Save
never
me.
not weird.
Help me. Facebook wise, we haven't gotten any new reviews actually. But we're still at that 5.0, so I'm cool. I haven't had to reply to anybody, so that makes my job easier. But that means that people are liking it. We increased in likes, we increased in followers. Generally, our reach and our post engagement went down because we had less posts. So it makes complete sense. So we're at where we would expect to be for how many things that we're posting now that we're back to 2 shows a week. So yeah, bless you. Jeez, Lee.
There's a lot of
you
dust.
look like you're dying.
There's a lot of dust.
I don't know why
There's so much dust we could see it on his camera.
Also, I told him to just not do it right now and just to wait till it's over. Turn off his PC, take parts and vacuum them out and clean it. No!
You don't know me!
This is what I have to put up with, you guys. Okay.
Hey, don't bring me into this.
I like the fact that
I
I can
had to
get
deal with your
in trouble.
headphone situation. That was like a whole other thing.
I like the fact that Ben's headphone situation is basically Ben's going, I need an adult. An
I'm
adult
like,
with
buy a
headphones.
headset. What are you doing with your money? Every
Buy new
Christmas and
brackets.
every birthday, Bentham is just going to get a headset from me. Like he's gonna behind him. I expect a stack to just to
I
like.
can make like a headphone rack and make like.
Yeah,
a
I was saying you should put like
Yeah.
7 headphones, 1 for each day of the week, different colors. You write on top of them Saturday's headphone.
Then he has to like unplug it and plug it back in, and then
Oh,
Deal
plug
with
all
that.
of them wirelessly.
I'll break both of them in the process, and they're like, "Oh, damn it!
No,
No,
wireless.
fine."
Just turn them on and off. You're fine.
yeah, they're gonna be all wireless, so that you recharge them. You just put them on the recharge rack.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry guys, this is what it ends up
You
happening.
started it.
I think that's all kind of what we have going on. I think the last thing that I just wanted to mention was
1 hour, 1 minute.
we're definitely trying to work out revamping stuff. So if there's any feedback that you guys ever have, and even when we're not doing revamp stuff, always feel free to like come to one of us and tell us if you have any issues or anything, and we'll do our best to kind of make those things better. There's just some things that are out of our reach. I continually get a lot of the same messages, and I continually have to tell you guys the same thing. Not you guys in general, but like in general, people who are contacting me. So,
But Maggie, why can't I spend the Roll4It money on a gold-plated yacht? I've asked you this, and you keep telling me no.
Because you
Probably
can't
gonna
afford a
sink.
gold-plated yacht.
That is true. If we could afford a gold-plated yacht.
I'm gonna send you like a tiny little one that's just like.
If it's gold-plated, then hell yeah.
It's just like the outside of it. You know how
Buy-
like they can just wrap it and go like it's not actually
We
all.
buy
you
a
know?
gold-plated yacht / streaming studio, and then it's okay.
It'd have to be somewhere where you could have internets.
I mean, you can do it
we'll
via
have
satellite, but the lag is terrible, which is okay.
Yeah.
But the bandwidth for streaming on a satellite is expensive, really bad. I've
Yeah,
looked
well-
into streaming from a yacht.
Oh my gosh.
dear.
I don't know what's
You
happening.
think I'm joking? Now you don't know.
I would love to live on a boat. I think that'd be fun.
But Maggie, you are a boat.
Oh yeah, I'm a boat. Sorry.
Sorry, hi,
I'm gonna
welcome
miss
to the
playing
professional inside scoop on what happens during the after hours on Roll4It.
We've been going for a long time, let's be honest. So I think to wrap things up, yep, that's what's happened this month in May. We have so many things happening that we are planning well in advance. So just let you know, Roll4It has so many things that we want to do, and we have no plans of not doing them. So hopefully we continue to get your guys' support, and you continue to love it. And yeah, I hope to read some comments from you guys and gals and pals. And yeah. Anything else you guys want to say?
No, I love
was
you,
pretty
Maggie.
good.
You make everything work so nice.
Bentham?
I just to hype people, we've just got in some sketches of the emotes, and they're
Where,
already.
I need to see them. I need to see them. Where are they? Where have you? Where are they?
Already?
There's a group chat. There's a group chat in Discord. Mid.
I went through our Discord. We have a bunch of private chats. I went through and I put all our emblems on everything, so our logo's on it.
Standardized all the
Oh
chats.
my gosh,
I love
they're
the-
great!
The third one over.
He's horrified and I
works
love
well.
it. I love it.
There we go. The emote, it's working fast. So that, like, based on the fact that in the time we've been doing this newsletter, we've got drafts of half of them.
Also,
we probably will have them by
comic?
next week.
The comic book, we just got all the edits done on those, so you guys can check them out.
I want to see this
Things happening. Right, we should leave.
No, I want to see him now.
Yeah, we should end it.
We should finish the
and working on the new cover thumbnail stuff for the cover. So yeah, that is how much we have stuff. And honestly, like every day we continually work on stuff. And I know between me and Bentham, we have constant like everyday work, and then EE just gets like a shit ton of work all at once in bulks. So I think
just every now and then it's like, hey, work out how to trademark us. Good luck.
Yeah, he was like, I guess I can do that.
Now he's gassed himself with his stupid.
You know what? This I can't. I'm not even gonna remotely sugarcoat it. This actually helps.
I'm sure it does. You're probably breathing in cancer right now, so we're gonna let this end so you cannot be breathing that in.
Okay.
May the dice roll ever in your favor, and thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for all of your support. We wouldn't be here and be able to do all the things without you. So please rally the troops to give us feedback so we can make Roll4It be even more amazing than it already is.
Yeah, as we say, one of the best ways to support is actually word of mouth. So thank you very much to everyone.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed this craziness.
Apparently, they're still here. Maybe?